I'm not doing this.
We're
I'm
right
not,
in the
I'm
middle
not
of
going
the
to be the
season.
podcast. I will not be the podcast that puts its flag on the ground about the controversy that is
The Christmas
when
tree.
do you start Christmas? Welcome back to Recommendations Required, a podcast where two best friends try to find their next obsession, and maybe so will you. I'm Ryan Mione.
And I'm Glenn Brown.
All right, episode 28. I nailed that on the first try.
No
I totally
problems.
have this down. I was not sabotaged by Glenn.
Not at all.
Man, I'm not focused because I'm still searching the interwebs for a recommendation right now.
Right now.
I'm going to throw this out here. This will be the least professional episode of to date, and that's saying
That's saying
a lot.
something for us.
Yeah, that is saying a lot. So, you didn't have an opener.
I did not.
Shame on you. I'll throw you under the bus real quick.
Yeah.
So I've had this opinion. So this is there's no game. There's nothing. I just want to say a strong opinion I have about someone.
Okay. About someone, a person.
Someone, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And it's me punching up. Like I will.
Okay,
This will
that's
never
fair.
be me punching down. And I've had this opinion, and I've been this opinion has been really closeted for a while, until I had a conversation with someone about it, and they were like, "I feel the exact same way," and I was like, "Thank you so much." So, I think you're going to totally disagree with me, but how do I say this? How do I say this in a way that makes me come off like I don't hate the person? Because I don't. I hate the personification of Neil deGrasse Tyson on social media.
What? You hate the personification of Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Like
Okay.
I don't know him, right?
Sure,
Like I've never seen him outside of a very
you hate
specific
his internet
context.
persona.
Yes.
Okay.
Every single time he comes up on my feed, I'm so annoyed. He's too much.
See, if you took the Earth and shrunk it down to
but this is
the
what he's
size
like.
of a cue
every-
ball.
Scream warning. He goes, "No, now listen. If the stars were all congealed together, then there would be a supernova. And just like in Interstellar, this is what Christopher Nolan got wrong." And I'm like, "Bro, just breathe. It's okay. Like I get it. You're really into science." And I want to know, the sad thing is I want to know the information.
See-
he just delivers to me in like insane punches. I'm like, just stop yelling.
I don't think
Just
he ever
take a
comes
breath.
in that hot. I don't think he's coming in that hot.
Hold on. I'm sending you a link right now.
I think you're overhyping the heat.
No, absolutely not. Hold on one second.
But you were correct. I'm probably gonna have to disagree with you on this one. I love Neil deGrasse Tyson, regardless of
I don't
persona.
think you do. I think you like what he stands for.
Logic, science, and reason.
It's just like, okay, it's always him on podcasts, and it's like it's always the same thing. It's the person asking them a simple question, and then him getting so heated and so intense about it, and the person's like,
So
okay,
into
like,
it.
It's just, but he's too much. It's just too much. It's just like there's being passionate about a thing and like going, I love this thing. This is great.
Sure.
And then there's like, I'm going to take this thing and I'm going to stuff it down your throat. And it's like, he's never made science feel like more of religion to me. That's what it feels like.
I just
how he talks
cannot
about it.
disagree with you enough.
You cannot disagree.
I cannot disagree with you enough on this one.
I knew you would. No, it's just
That
like
is
every
wild statement to me.
every reel that comes up of him, or YouTube short or whatever. I'm just like, this is just chill, dude. Like
every video
and
that
maybe-
pops up and it's Neil deGrasse Tyson, I am pausing and watching that video all the way through every time.
You're one of the sheep. One of the sheep. It's fine. I knew you were going to disagree with me.
One
on
of
this,
those
but
round earth sheep.
I mean, no. I don't know. I'm just like he just he's just like always screaming at everyone, and I'm like, it's okay, dude. Like science is cool. Let's talk about science.
I think you're exaggerating. I don't think he's always
I wish I
screaming.
could find a cut.
Yeah, I think I think you're gonna need to prove yourself with a clip here, but talking in a normal volume.
Oh my gosh.
Just talking about aliens.
He gives me here's what he gives me. There was a kid in my 5th grade class who was really smart.
Named Glenn Brown.
No. Thank God I didn't know you. No.
No, that's probably fair.
No, I think we would have been friends. And what is this? What is the beginning of this podcast anyway? This is insane. But like, he was in my class and he was really smart, and he just had to make sure that everyone knew it. And that's like,
yeah, okay.
That to me is like, I'm like, what he's bringing to the table is super cool and it's really interesting. But it's just like sometimes the clips I get, I'm like, dude, like, just breathe. Like, it's okay.
Sure.
We're going to make it. And I'm just like, and maybe it's not intensity, but it's just like, he feels like he's always that kid. Like he's the personification of actually. That's like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
Okay. See, I just never got that vibe from him, but like, okay. Like
you see where I'm coming from though.
Yeah,
I'm not spewing.
No, like I see where you're coming from. That's just never the vibe I got for him, but
maybe we're getting different clips. Maybe you're getting super chill.
Maybe
Neil deGrasse Tyson clips. And
I feel like all my clips are him and Joe Rogan.
Ryan's rage. What?
All the clips are him and Joe Rogan for me.
Yes, that's where he's the worst in my opinion.
Oh no. I don't.
I'll put a poll. I'll put a poll down.
Okay. I'm poll.
Legitimately interested. I feel like no one's gonna agree with me, but what if it's the upset? What if I win?
Yeah, maybe. We'll see.
No, I'm getting texts.
I'm rooting for you.
No, you're not. All right. That was my week opener. That was my pulling it out of my butt cheeks opener. Glenn, we have some reviewing to do.
Yeah. Okay. So I need to start off with an apology. Okay. I came in
to the
you.
listeners.
I have done you a great disservice because I came in last episode half cocked. I had only seen one episode of the show. I have now finished the show, and if I had finished the show before our last recording, I would have pitched it so much harder to you, and I wouldn't have come in so weak on it. Because this show beats ass, and I love it.
Glenn, the feeling, I'm just going to jump straight into it.
Yeah, let's go.
So
how far did you get?
Well, okay, hold on.
Okay.
We got to go back.
Okay.
We got to set the scene. You came in, I think, second time in a row with no recommendation. Just saying.
Yes.
Just saying. Second time in a row with no recommendation. And you pitched me.
It was a recommendation. It was just not a full one.
Yeah. And you pitched to me one episode of a TV show.
Yes.
To be fair, it was over an hour long.
Yeah. It was a long ep.
And I was like, you know what? Well, like, sure, I'll give it a shot. Like, well, I'll watch the first episode, and then you text me, and we record this Tuesday nights.
Yeah.
So we have this recording on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then you text me Saturday in the afternoon. I've watched 5 episodes of Blue Eye, and I highly recommend watching past the first episode if you have time. I'll probably finish it before we record.
Yeah.
How many episodes are in the show?
8.
That's not enough time for me to sit down and watch 7 episodes.
I said I highly recommend you watch past the first one if you had time. I didn't say you had to finish it. I said I was going to finish it.
But I feel like there was a little bit like, hey, I finished. Maybe you should go finish.
At that point, I had finished like episode 5. I was like halfway through, roughly, a little past halfway through, and the show only got better for me. So I was like, maybe if you could just see a little bit more.
So I'm giving you now 2 branching realities. Okay.
Okay.
The first reality is I review what you recommended.
Sure.
The first episode.
Okay.
And then another conversation can be had about the rest of the show
Okay.
at a later date. Maybe you can
Okay.
recommend the full show.
Okay.
Or maybe I can
we can just talk
spend-
the first episode. That's great.
Or we talk about what I've seen so far. And then that's the end of the conversation.
Oh, I think. Wait, do I get to choose? Is that what's happening?
You get to choose which road we go down.
Okay, the second one. Let's just talk about what you've seen so far. We'll talk about
Okay.
it, and that'll
then
be
wrap
it.
it up.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's fine.
I've seen up to like the first 10 minutes of episode 3.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Let me just pull it up for reference. On
Let me just pull up our Notion board because I'm gonna make a statement and I have to double check to make sure the statement is true. Okay. This is the best TV show you've ever recommended.
Whoa,
And
really?
I think this might be the best TV show you ever recommend. I don't know if you will have to, if there will have to, the only way this is going to get topped is if you find another TV show right as it comes out again
Yeah.
before I can watch it and
Yeah.
you snag it and you recommend it and you're like,
Okay.
"Quick, before Ryan watches it."
Okay, so I had watched the first episode and I was like, "Oh man, I know Ryan's gonna dig it and he's gonna beat me to it, and I don't have time to watch the full season, so I'm just gonna go for it. I'm getting in there. I'm recommending episode 1. We're just going for it." I'm so
Incredible.
shocked. Okay, I thought you were gonna come in hating it. Okay,
No.
okay, I'm
Oh my
pumped
gosh,
now. Let's
absolutely.
talk
There
about
was-
it.
I don't think there was literally the only thing that like that pulled me out of the like transcendence that this show brings is okay, side note, have you seen Kill Bill?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Is when she does the trainings in the first episode and the Kill Bill music comes on?
Yes.
I loved it, but it took me way out for a
Way
second.
out of it. It
and
did,
Then
yes.
and then I got back in. I was like,
Yes,
I
agree. I
"What?"
totally agree, 100%. I heard that music and I was like, "Wait,
what? Yeah, exactly. I was like,
But-
super fitting, but like, what are
as
you
the
doing
show
here?
as the show went on, I appreciated the homage, like because there's a ton.
Well, it's because Kill Bill is based off samurai movies.
Yes.
Like at a core, like samurai western revenge. Like
Yep.
it's taken from that. So it's weird because it's an homage to Kill Bill, which is an homage to what this is originally.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, and as the show goes on, you're just going to see more and more like samurai homages. Like there's a
great.
building with 9 floors, like that whole
Great,
thing.
yeah.
It's all
Crouching
very
Tiger
good.
and Dragon kind of
Yes. Yeah.
It's I loved it. I'm trying to think just like my process through it. The animation's incredible. Have you seen Arcane?
I haven't seen Arcane yet, but I know it's the same
So
style.
like I was debating maybe recommending that to you. It's like I've seen other animes. Is this considered an
I don't think it's technically an anime because it's not produced in Japan.
Okay.
I think
So, like,
I think it's
but I
produced in
have seen
America,
anime
so it's different. But
Touch the 3D model, like the 3D CGI, and it's never done it for me. It's never worked, in my opinion.
Okay.
But like you have like Arcane, the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie,
Yep.
Spider-Verse, like that style where it's, they're playing into it a little bit and kind of creating this own style. Like I super dig it. I think it totally worked. I feel like they stuck to it as well. Like I was never pulled out of the design choice. Claws is another one. That's another kind of Christmas movie
Okay.
that is a really similar style.
Okay.
And then, yeah, the character development was incredible. I loved how they kept cutting back to her building the sword and the training. And then, like, I got to the part where she semi-spoilers, she kills the guy with a broken blade. And I loved how they tied that in a way that, like, I saw it coming, but I didn't at the same time.
Yep.
And it was like, sometimes that stuff where they're like, here's this guy after her. And then it's like, oh, wait, that's the guy. and they reveal that too close to the reveal. It sometimes pulls me out.
Yeah.
But because he was such a small character, I didn't really need to be this whole thing. Do you know what I mean?
Yep. Yeah.
And the revenge was good that I loved. I think that this show did one of the best jobs of like finding her power and finding a good balance to it, where she's super badass.
Yep.
But like you don't feel like she's anime badass, where she's just like killing everyone without a problem. Like
she's not a god.
Like, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's
like she gets knocked down and knocked down hard. And
yeah, and
she it's her pure willpower that gets her back up constantly.
Exactly. And, and it's not like it's willpower, but it's also, it doesn't feel like it's supernatural willpower. And like, that was one thing is I'm interested to see this moving forward, because I'm like, there's no supernatural elements so far.
Yep.
There's like hints and winks to like the Japanese folklore of things, but it's never like officially like the meteorite landing. Like that's a little bit like,
yep.
What is that?
Yeah,
but it's not like, oh, this was this god who was doing this in order to
like, they definitely keep it very grounded. There's no like mystical things happening, which I very much liked. I'd say just to touch on the animation style, that was honestly one of the reasons I wanted to bring it to you and wanted to talk about it, is specifically for the animation style, because I was watching it and like I knew there was other shows that were like it, like Arcane and stuff like that, but there was something that was really like hitting for me when I was watching the show, and I realized that it's this animation style portrayal of like gore, of like blood and guts, because I think this show live action would be too much. Like it'd be too much gore, too real, too much like blood and guts. Like it would bother me. I wouldn't want to watch it. But then if you're like 2D anime, it doesn't have the same weight. Like if it's 2D anime style, it's like, oh yeah, these are just cartoons. Like that's some red color on the screen. Like it doesn't have the same weight to it. And for some reason, this was like hitting that sweet spot right in the middle for me, where like I felt the intensity of the gore without feeling disgusted by it. Like I couldn't watch it.
I think that has nothing to do with the animation.
Really?
Actually. Because I noticed that as well, where the gore and violence was holding weight, but didn't make me go like, man, they're really showing me too much.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, for the biggest impact kills, they don't show it.
That's true.
Like they actually cut away a lot, which create lots, like it's that whole like typical like letting your imagination fill in the gaps to make it as tense as it needs to be to build that scene out. But I'm like, I think you could do it with real people and hold the same weight, as well as full 3D, or
that's true,
more traditional 3D or 2D, because I think you need to know how to play in, like you need to know how much is too much in that space,
in that medium. Okay.
So
I could see that.
I don't think it's the animation. I think it's the animators and the director knowing that sweet spot of, because there's like a scene, where like the two guys get killed. I think it's like episode 2 in like the noodle cafe.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And like their guts are like dripping from the ceiling.
Yeah. Yep.
But they don't show them get killed. You just see the aftermath of it, and you're like, holy crap.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's the scene where she's fighting the four fangs on the mountain, and she like cuts this guy's arms clean off.
Yeah.
And you're like, whoa. But you're like, it almost doesn't hit you as much. You're just like, that was cool.
Yeah.
And like intense, but then they move. There's no time to linger on it too much. Like we're still moving in the battle,
still fighting. Yeah.
Where the deaths that hit you the hardest are ones that like they let you sit in for a second. Like the murder happens, you can hear it, you see the blood splatter, and then it doesn't show it. And I just thought, like, again, what was so great about this was that it was directed well. Like the animation was great, but like the compositions, the pacing of it was so good. The editing was so good. Like so often I feel like these shows, they lean too heavy on one thing. They go, we have this really cool animation style. We don't really we're going to take less time out of the writing, out of the pacing of this, out of the editing. We're just going to lean too heavy on one thing or the other. And I feel like this just did such a good job of I watched the first episode and I turned to my friend. I was like, I could literally watch this kind of show for the rest of my life because the pacing is just, it's so good and you feel the journey. And it's not like Avatar where it's we got to this town, let's go do the thing. Even though there is that, you don't feel the serial episode-ness of it.
No,
it feels like a continuous story.
A continuous journey. Yeah.
I'm very excited to finish it.
Yeah, I'm really excited to specifically hear what you have to say about episode 5. Because I think the show really peaks at episode 5 with it starts cutting between the main character's Mizu, her main plot, her past, and a traditional Japanese legend being told at the same time, and you're getting all of these parallels between these 3 different stories, and it was just I was like, this is an amazing episode. I was just loving every second of it. But yeah.
I think the other thing about this show that shows how much I like it is I still have not finished Cowboy Bebop.
Okay.
I haven't finished it yet. I haven't come back to it.
Yeah.
There's nothing that's going to stop me from finishing this.
Okay. Wow. I'm feeling
I'm just
so good this
I'm
episode.
Super invested. I think they also did a really good job of playing. Cliches are not bad. I think that I need to say that first is just because something is cliche does not mean it's necessarily a problem. It just means it's been done a lot. But if you can execute a cliche well, it works. You know
use
what I mean?
it, yeah.
But her side character who joins her, he was just executed perfectly. I felt like he just walked that line of almost being annoying, but you kind of love him.
Yep.
And even the stuff with this is this special medal with the sword. All of it is just, they're cliches, but they work, and they use them exactly how they're supposed to be used, and they're not leaning too heavy on it.
They're not leaning on any one cliche too hard.
Yep.
Yeah. They're using some of them to their advantage and leaning on the storytelling.
Even the main character being a female, it's okay, this is Mulan and so many other stories.
Yeah.
I go to Mulan because it's just the most typical.
Yep.
But there's so many other stories like them. This doesn't bother me. And in fact, they take the cliche, they work really well with it, they play into some themes of it, and they don't make it that's the whole thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Or even with her being a different race, and kind of ostracized by people. Again, they touch on it, but it's not the whole thing. Everything,
they're not
just has such a good
harping on
balance.
it. Yeah.
Exactly. And I think in other shows that you've recommended, I think I've felt the crutch of that on other shows.
Yeah. It's
I think of Jujutsu Kaisen of so much of the crutch is on the combat and the animation.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're not going there for the writing. You're not going there for the editing. You're not going there for the pacing. You're going there to see the cool thing happen.
Yes.
And they do it. And they do it really, really,
really well. Yeah.
But can you watch
you're leaning
seasons
on
of that? For me, no. You know what I mean? So
I can.
I know you can. Yeah, exactly. So, but I after the first episode, I was like, okay, this is great. So,
oh man, I'm so pumped. I can't wait to hear more about what you think. What do you think about the other samurai character that gets introduced?
The one from her childhood?
Yeah.
I really liked it. I like so far she'd been injured by the Four Fangs, and then he comes to duel her.
Yeah.
She passes out, and then they're nurturing her back.
Yep.
So I'm really interested to see how that dynamic plays out.
I love how their dynamic grows because it's clearly it's really interesting because there's this whole honor culture thing going on where he hates her and thinks she's a man, but he he hates her and wants to kill her, but he also needs it to be in an honorable way. Like it needs to be a duel where they're both they're
so
both
that I
at
can
full
kill you
health.
fairly.
I need to
It's
prove.
great.
Yeah, it's so
health,
good. Yeah. Yeah.
Here, take this healing potion. I need to kill you.
Yeah. Yes, very much.
Side note, that's a great D&D character. Is like only killing in honorable ways. Like
that is a good D&D
if there's someone
character.
that
That
has
would be
to kill,
fun.
it's like I need to give you this sword because otherwise this isn't fair. Like
Yeah.
I'm only gonna. But and it didn't feel like gimmicky. And it's like I don't really know a lot about Japanese culture, so this is me talking out of my butt again, as always. But like, it felt honest to that culture. Like it didn't feel like, oh, the way of the samurai says that we must, like, they don't need to explain it.
Yeah.
You just get it. It's the thing I've been preaching since the beginning of this podcast. Show don't tell.
Mm-hmm.
This show does it in spades. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I think you're especially going to like it moving forward because it's definitely a show where every character is muddied and in the gray. Like even the main character you're following is like not always the best person, you know?
No, and to me, yeah, that is like
everyone is
good
stuck
storytelling
in this like world, you know, and she's like battling everyone telling her she's a monster and whether she believes she's a monster or not. Yeah. I think probably the only good person in the show is her like sidekick, noodle guy.
Noodle guy. I can't remember his name. He's great.
Yeah.
I was like, early on, I was like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be like a Jar Jar Binks. I'm like, episode 2, I was like, nah, he's good.
He's chill.
He can chill
he's
around.
good.
He's chill. He's chill. It's so good. Way more nudity than I thought.
Yeah.
Way more dicks than I was expecting. That's fine. There's
more to come. There's more to come. Yeah. There was a lot. The nudity like shocked me. Like it kept giving me the warning in the top left of the screen, like nudity, and I'm like, oh, that's interesting. And then it popped up, and I was like, oh, we're doing this.
And it's really, I think the thing about it too is I think some people would take this as a reason not to watch it or a reason to watch it. Is like it takes on kind of that Game of Thrones like complexity of characters and stuff, and includes the violence, includes the sex, includes the nudity, but all of it is easier to consume. One, because even so far, even in the sex and nudity stuff, it didn't feel gratuitous.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I said that word right. And same thing with the violence. Like, I don't know, there was just a piece of me of it didn't bother me as much, or it didn't like deter me from watching the show.
Yeah.
Where I feel like Game of Thrones does a little bit to get people to watch. And this just felt like a live action show that was animated and just had those scenes in it.
Yeah. Well, I felt like the nudity and the nudity scenes were like key plot points. Like they were showing an important thing that is happening most of the time.
Yeah.
It's not just it's nudity to attract people and it's nudity for nudity's sake. It's like, no, this person is having sex with this person and that's kind of a big deal. And like the way it's happening is a big deal. And like the way they're reacting to it is a big deal. Like it's all like important at the same time. So it doesn't feel like needless, you know, and like
exactly.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, I'm so glad you like this.
Yeah.
I'm
great
so
recommendation.
Pumped. See, all my best recommendations are always off the cuff when I have nothing prepared. I continue the streak. This is dangerous.
I'm gonna give it its rating.
Okay, hit me.
I'm gonna give this 32 out of 32 teeth. I think this is a perfect score.
Wow.
I don't think
as of 2 episodes
I would want. Yeah.
Because that's what I recommended.
It.
Yeah.
I don't know what more I would want from this kind of TV show. And again, that's like how I'm thinking about rating. Like,
if you in its category, in its space,
in its space, would I want anything more? I don't think so.
Awesome.
I think we're good.
Awesome. Love to hear it.
Style's great, writing's great, editing's great, the pacing of it, just it's just, yeah, voice acting's great. Like, the only snag was that one song that they threw in.
Yes.
And I get it, but man, did that whip me out. But then I was like, okay, this is cool. Like, I'm down for it. So
Yeah. Oh man, cool. Well, yeah. I hope everyone out there goes and checks this out. I feel like
you should. It's on Netflix. Check it out.
Netflix has been kind of like dipping for me. Like Netflix isn't necessarily like putting out my favorite stuff lately. But I saw this and I went back on Netflix and fired it up and I was like, oh, Netflix, hello.
You did
Welcome
good.
back, my friend.
You did good.
You did good.
All right. Great recommendation. Great show. Go watch it. We're going to jump into some mom phrases.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try and figure out
hit me with a mom phrase.
So I'm currently FaceTiming with you by phone, so I got to pull my phone off to look at this real quick.
Wow, I'm getting up close and personal on the FaceTime here.
Here we go. Do you remember what the last one was? He looks wily.
Wily, yeah.
All right, this one. There's 2 versions of this. I think the second version will come out at a different episode. I like the lore that's being built from this, by the way.
Yes.
Like so this one is one that I use on a regular basis now.
Oh.
And that's nothing to sneeze at.
That's nothing to sneeze at.
So, Glenn, can you use that phrase in a sentence for me?
Oh, man. I don't know that I've ever heard that said before. That's nothing to sneeze at. Well, I mean, that is a sentence in itself. I'm going to assume...
Can you use that phrase?
Yeah, I'm going to assume, like...
Or create a situation where you would say that phrase.
Yeah, okay. Oh man. I'm pulling up to a restaurant to eat what they claim to be like a huge burger, right?
Yeah.
And it's like a competition or something. I walk into this restaurant and someone is eating this huge burger and it is the biggest burger I've ever seen in the world.
Yeah.
That is nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at. I would agree. I think that's that is the correct way to use this phrase.
It's like something that is like big and overpowering and like
Grand Canyon is nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing to sneeze at.
But I also think it's things of skill. Someone who makes a really someone who does a really cool kickflip on a skateboard. That's nothing to sneeze
at. Yeah.
Like, it's good.
But like, I also can't imagine where that would come from because I can't imagine someone doing something bad or like being bad at something and sneezing at them for it.
Yeah, is it like a nicer way of like that, like you spit on someone or something? Like,
yeah, or I almost think of like scoffing, like that's nothing to scoff at.
Me making up more lore. Is it nothing to sneeze at because you're closing your eyes to it? You're not keeping your eyes on it.
Whoa!
Just made that up as well. This is the podcast where I just make up everything now.
Maybe.
I like that.
This podcast is forming its own reality around itself.
Oh, yeah.
Because you got to keep your eyes open. That's so interesting.
It's a big deal. You should look at it.
If we looked it up and that was the actual origin, that would not shock me at all.
We could look it up. Do we want to look it up though, or do we want to live in this reality?
Do we have Google?
No, it's weird.
I think we got to look it up. I think we got to confirm our suspicions here.
Okay. There's another version of nothing to sneeze at that I also use. We'll get to that later. But nothing to sneeze at is in my
The first recorded use of the phrase is in its current negative form was in 1799 in a play by John Till Allingham. Why? As to his... Wow, I can't even read this.
You're nailing it.
Why, as to his consent, I don't value it a button, but that 5,000 pounds is a sum not to be sneezed at.
Nothing to sneeze at or not to be sneezed at.
Okay.
Coined in relation to an idiom that no longer exists except for Miss Mion. Look at the meaning of terms. Nothing describes something of consequence, something important enough to be paid attention to.
It's not
Originally, the term
trifling.
to sneeze at was an idiom. Stop! I don't want to subscribe. Idiom used to describe something that should be held in contempt, something unimportant. In this sense, sneeze may also be interrupted as a snort of derision.
Yeah,
Man.
like scoffing at something.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
By the early 1800s, nothing to sneeze at came about. Nothing to sneeze at. Wait. But hi, two people with dyslexia try to read definitions.
Welcome to the podcast.
Nothing to sneeze at is the American form. Okay, so it's the American form is nothing to sneeze at, and the English form is not to be sneezed at.
Not to be sneezed at. Okay.
There you
okay. Interesting.
Blue Eye Samurai is nothing. Well, you can't say in a sentence. It has to be its own thing.
Yeah.
You have to be watching Blue Eye Samurai in that moment.
No,
Go,
it's
that's
just
nothing
Blue
to
Eye
sneeze at.
Samurai. Nothing to be sneezed at. Yeah.
Man, it's great. It's a good one. I say try to use it this week.
Okay. I'll
Listeners,
work it into
try
my
to incorporate
lexicon.
into your
Yeah.
Let me know how it goes.
Yeah. As
In fact, if
people
you
look
want to
at
get
me
really
very
big,
weird.
film yourself saying it to someone and tag us in it. We'll put it in the show. I don't think anyone will say anything, but
That'll
we
go
just want
well.
to see how you use it. It'll be great.
Sure.
All right.
Okay, Ryan.
Recommendation time.
What are you recommending to me?
I have two recommendations locked in now. In the time that we've been talking.
Wow, that's so good.
It depends
Usually
when
takes me
this
much
episode
longer.
comes out. When does this episode
December
come out?
28th.
It's a little late. Okay, I have a Christmas movie. And I
Okay,
have something else.
That's perfect. Christmas movie's perfect.
Okay. Have you seen the movie Claws?
No, I have not.
Great. All right, let's do that. Let's just do another movie.
Okay.
So this movie
for
is...
the record, it is early November for me.
I know. Doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. I don't know about you, but there are like a list of Christmas movies in my head that must be watched during Christmas.
Okay. I'm not a huge Christmas movie connoisseur. But
They don't have to be Christmas movies, to be fair. I think Die Hard is a Christmas movie.
Okay.
I think the Lord of the Rings trilogy is another one that can be considered, like a lot of people consider like a Christmas watching experience.
Oh, okay. It's not
Think about it. When else are you going to gather with a family and watch
Sure.
12 hour
Okay.
of film?
That's an interesting way to spend your family time.
I don't see anything wrong with that.
Like I'll watch Home Alone most years, but I don't have like this list of must-see movies when that season rolls around, if that makes sense.
So Home Alone is in it for you.
If I didn't watch Home Alone for a year, that's like not a problem. Like it's not a must-see because I'm not actively seeking it out every year.
Okay, how about this?
know
What is
what I
like
mean?
your top 3? Hey, you're snowed in for the next 4 days.
Sure, and I'm watching.
What are your top? You're watching Christmas.
I'm
movies.
watching movies or Christmas movies.
Christmas movies, like movies that you would watch in Christmas.
Okay.
Just yeah,
I think
any movies, Glenn.
I mean, you just listed Lord of the Rings. That's why I'm asking.
That I'm standing by that. That's it.
Okay. I think Home Alone is probably up there. Probably The Grinch Stole Christmas is probably in there.
Okay.
Now I'm going to struggle to think of Christmas movies.
Polar Express.
I haven't seen that in over a decade.
Don't.
It
Doesn't hold up.
doesn't hold up.
It's horrendous. It's a horror movie. It's more of a Halloween movie now.
Okay.
Let's just look this up. Let's pad it out for timing because I don't have much to say about this movie. Top Christmas movies. Spirited. This is a new one with.
Didn't see it.
Okay, okay, It's a Wonderful
Christmas
Life.
Carol. A Christmas Carol would be up there for me.
Christmas Carol.
Specifically,
What happens in that one again? I can't even.
That's-
Elf. Are you an Elf hater?
no, I like Elf. Elf is fun.
Okay.
Elf is on the list. I think my all-time favorite Christmas movie is A Christmas Carol, and now you're making me think I'm thinking of the wrong movie because you don't know what A Christmas Carol is. It's like Scrooge and the three ghosts and
Yeah. Which version?
my favorite version is an animated version made by Disney in like
Is that the one with Jim Carrey?
Yes. Yeah. In like
Yeah,
2010, I think. Somewhere in there.
Okay.
But the animation and everything was just awesome. I loved it. I'm probably gonna
It's
go
fun.
with that as my top one. But I've always liked A Christmas Carol, like all versions.
Nightmare
Yeah,
Before
yeah.
Christmas movie or Halloween movie?
I don't know that I've actually seen it.
Dang.
I think I've seen
What about
parts of it.
A Charlie Brown's Christmas? A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Oh, I haven't watched
Charlie
it since I
Brown.
was a kid, but I will say that
classic.
is a Christmas movie. Yeah.
Okay, so here's what I'm pitching.
Okay.
That all said,
Okay.
I think that Claus is like right now my top Christmas movie. It
Wow,
doesn't feel
okay.
like Christmas for me if I don't watch that film.
Interesting.
Here's the problem with our current situation of this podcast. Like you
Okay.
said, it's not even Thanksgiving yet.
Yes.
I think to get the full impact,
Oh, it needs to be the season.
it's like it needs to be the season. But here's just what I'll say about the film. Came out in 2019.
oh, it's recent.
It has a
Okay.
yeah. It's a recent film. You have
And you mentioned this in the like painted CGI animation list, right?
yes, yeah. So the couple things about it is, I think the animation style is beautiful. I think it's so fun. I think it's whimsical. I think it plays into the like aesthetic that they're going for. I think the writing's great. I think the voiceover is great. It's a really typical like you could probably consider this a kids film.
Okay.
Like you're not walking in and it's gonna like radicalize your thought in society and culture and community and change
Sure.
how you think about the world. But like
sure.
it's just like Christmas movies are just like not usually good. Like they're just okay.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just Christmas
But
movies. Yeah.
I don't know. There was just something about this one that really hit hard. My one gripe with this film is that they take music that does not fit the aesthetic, similar to Blue Eye Samurai,
Okay.
and they throw it in there as like joke, where it's like they're like
oh, like
a
it'll be a
situation's
bunch of
happening and
elves
then
putting on sunglasses and suddenly it's Jay-Z or something.
yeah, exactly. And
Gotcha.
like there's I think one moment specifically for me that happens, and I'm like, if this wasn't in here,
Perfect movie.
I would give this the stamp of a Christmas classic.
Okay.
But because it's in here, it doesn't kill it. It's just in the moment I'm like, you're trying to be like to date, and that stuff changes so fast. It kills it for me. But I don't know, man. This movie's great. It's just
okay. Okay.
It does the whole thing of like, it's about this is such a wild recommendation too.
I really would never think you'd come at me with a Christmas movie. It was a wild out of left field.
well,
like
we were talking, and I was like,
even
oh, that's
like
right,
during
Claus.
Christmas season, I would never think you would come to me and be like, "You need to watch this movie called
It's great.
Claus."
It's great. It's so good. It's got J.K. Simmons. It's got
do
the
like
actress that plays
J.K.
Ann
Simmons.
Perkins. You'll recognize a lot of the voices. Norm Macdonald, if you know who that is.
Yep.
It's great, and it plays into the whole thing of like, there's no Santa or Christmas in this world, and so it's the development of how does that stuff happen.
Oh, it's the origin of Christmas.
It's like the origin of Christmas. Yeah.
Interesting.
Um,
So it's like Jesus
takes
being
place-
born and like how that turns into a pagan holiday and no,
None
oh
of that.
no,
Mm-mm.
no, oh,
no JC,
okay.
no JC to be seen. So definitely knocks 10 teeth out of the rating for that. So the most it'll get
okay.
is 13.
Okay.
That's the new that's the new recommendation required rule. No JC, you lose 10 points. Sorry. That's the only way Blue Eye Samurai episode 5. The other story is just Jesus.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
It's great.
Oh.
It's like the style's great, the story's great. It's a good watch. It's an easy watch, Glenn.
It's an
You
easy
won't-
watch.
It won't wreck your soul.
Will it drag in the middle for like 45 minutes?
I don't even want to dig that back up. I'm trying to think of anything else. Yeah, the general concept is there is this like organization of like mail keepers or mailmen that like
Okay.
go to different areas and they're like really specifically trained. And the person who owns this organization or oversees the whole thing, his son is like totally spoiled, is not doing anything, and he basically goes, "Okay, son, you have to get a certain amount of letters like sent out from this island that no one has been able to send letters to, and if you don't, you lose all of your inheritance." So then the guy goes, and the place is just like a crapshoot, and he has to learn, and he starts off by like trying to figure out how to trick people into sending letters, and then that turns into this whole development of his character, and he meets this person, so he's
How
just
does that lead to Santa Claus?
you'll have to watch and find out.
Wild. Okay.
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah,
I mean,
I love the
to be fair, I did say it's early November, but apparently Christmas starts like October 1st nowadays.
I'm not doing this.
We're
I'm
right
not,
in the
I'm
middle
not
of
going
the
to be the
season.
podcast. I will not be the podcast that puts its flag on the ground about the controversy that is
the Christmas tree.
when do you start Christmas?
I believe we started this
If
podcast talking about
if you put a Christmas tree up before Thanksgiving, you're cursing your next generation of kids. That's just the rule.
Wow.
Everyone knows that.
Bold stance.
Not a stance, just a fact.
My mom used to force us to put up the Christmas tree like Friday morning after Thanksgiving. Like it's got to be up now.
I
we
get
need
that. Yeah.
maximum exposure to the Christmas tree.
I think we were pretty similar to that.
That's wild to me. Can
How's that wild?
we have a
After
few
Thanksgiving,
days?
It's free range.
Few days of buffer.
What's
on this?
your house rule? Man, we are just not. We're all over the place in this episode. What's your house rule, Glenn?
The house rule on when the Christmas tree goes up?
Yeah.
No house rule. It just goes up when it goes up.
Is it up right now?
No. We're easily a month out from that. It's probably going up like December 20th or something.
All right. Because you value the next generation of the Brown family. That's why.
I'm trying to be extra safe.
Yeah.
I don't want to get cursed.
I'm telling you, man, it's real. So the two facts of this podcast: Claus is a Christmas classic, and here's the thing about it. It came out, nobody talked about it, and I watched it.
That's why
and
I was
just
shocked
like,
when you said it was recent. I'm like, why have I not heard of this?
I just like, I can't. Oh man, there's another movie I want you to watch really bad. I can't tell if this movie is just like, just hit me at the right point. I was just in the right space for it, and it just imprinted me, right? Like it might be that. I'm not saying that this like movie is good on a film buffs like whatever like criteria. It
Sure.
just it hit me, and I was like, this is great. This is a great Christmas movie. I'm throwing it in the rotation. We're good to go.
Okay.
It is 8.2 out of 10 on IMDb.
Oh, so now you're backing up your reviews, your recommendations.
I like it, but it might be trash. I just can't tell. I think it's great. I'm just at the IMDb and I'm like, oh, other people also think it's
Sure.
okay.
You just gave me heat for backing up my recommendations.
Listen, you started off the recommendation like that. We all saw what that was. Mine was a general mention of the rating.
Okay, that's fair.
All right.
Okay. I'm watching Claws. We're getting in the Christmas spirit. Maybe
I think this was spirit early.
maybe this episode just comes out like a week early and it's on December 21st or something. We'll see.
Maybe.
We'll see.
Because I think that would throw off
Everything. Yeah, everything. That's fine.
that would shatter everything about our podcast.
It would
currently.
destroy my notion board and
Any
everything it
breathing
stands
room
for.
would immediately be disintegrated.
We'll see.
My gosh.
Okay, I'm gonna go watch Claws and I'm gonna come back with a rec, I guess.
Another question about animated films, so I can figure out. Have you seen Little Prince?
No. No.
That's it.
No.
Netflix and animation, man. They got something. Arcane, Blue Eye Samurai, Claws, The Little Prince.
Oh, is this a Netflix movie, Claws?
It's Netflix.
All
great.
Okay.
So their live action is trash.
Yeah, it's not
It
great.
is
all the time.
garbage.
Yeah,
But those animated stuff.
they
man,
got
it's
good animators. Yeah,
They got some good animators over there.
good animators. Okay, what is this podcast?
We haven't been saying this, but I want to say this. Quick shout out and thank you to Dominic Pieri for doing our music.
Yes,
I don't think we've ever mentioned that. He does our little intro.
I think
outro.
we mentioned it when he was a guest on, but we don't.
We did.
We don't say it enough. Yes, thank you.
We don't say enough.
Thank you, Dominic, for our music.
Dominic, thank you.
It's amazing. And I gave him like a reference song that I was thinking of, and he just nailed it. It's great. Yeah. And
Do you have your chess move ready?
oh no. Oh no.
I knew it. In my heart, in the deepest part of my heart, I had hope. I was like, maybe he's already planned it.
I
Maybe he's
forget about
already
it every
ready.
episode.
Absolutely. Like I said, the most unprofessional episode so far. Christmas. This is a weird recommendation. I don't know how I feel about this. I'm Ryan signing off.
I'm Glenn signing off. Pawn to E6.
And we'll see you in 2 weeks.